Hi, today's lesson is on wedding and bridal sets to match or not to match. So your typical wedding set has 3 rings. You've got the engagement ring, the wedding band that goes with the engagement ring, and then the men's band. So you could match or not match all of them, and there's certain interesting considerations. So let's just start with the engagement ring. Often you'll start with a special engagement ring, and the associated wedding band is a secondary thought. So sometimes if one person presents the engagement ring as a surprise, they allow their partner to pick the wedding band, to decide on what the wedding band is going to be. And that's a nice way for the partner to be involved in what the rest of their set looks like. Other times in a surprise, the engagement ring and the wedding band will be purchased together, so the partner doesn't have to worry about what's going to go with this. They're both really fine and valid ways to go. With an engagement ring, there's 2 things in an engagement ring that help to determine what the wedding band is going to be. So whether the engagement ring is straight, in other words, you can stack a straight wedding band, you could stack 5 rings with it and they'll all stack fine without any gap. Or if the engagement ring has a curve to it, then the wedding band, in order to have no gap, has a curve to it also, and then they line up like 2 puzzle pieces. In that scenario, oftentimes when worn together, they will come apart, and even though the engagement ring will stay top up, the wedding band will spin. So in a curved set, sometimes the women get the rings soldered together, and other times they just leave them loose. Both are fine. If you solder them together, you do lose the ability to wear the wedding band by itself. For instance, when I go to the gym, I like to take my engagement ring off and I just keep my wedding band on. So another scenario is to have an engagement ring that has a curve to it, and then you still stack a straight wedding band. That's what I do. I have an engagement ring that has a bunch of ins and outs, and then my wedding band is straight. But I don't mind gaps. So I find that people are in 2 camps. They're okay with gaps, or they don't want any gaps. So that's a personal preference, and it really is completely up to you. Myself, I like to have a wedding band that can spin freely and that I can wear on its own. It's very practical. So those are the options when you're thinking about the engagement ring and the matching wedding band. Now, as far as the men's band or the partner's band, where there's no center stone on it, there's ways to make that band reflect the engagement ring set, which is really nice. So some people they have to match. So the wedding bands have to match, and that's fine. In that case, you want to think about all 3 rings all together. So what engagement ring will work with what wedding band that will work with what other wedding band, and there will be similar characteristics throughout. Your human design guide at Krikua can really help you, point you in the right direction of styles that work that way. There's other things that you can do to make rings reflect each other, but not necessarily match perfectly. For instance, our delicate leaf set and a number of other sets that we have, there's a solid wedding band that has more of a masculine appeal that matches the wedding band that has pierced areas, so negative space, and it's more delicate. So while those 2 rings reflect each other, they don't match perfectly. Whichever way you go is the right way, because it's completely up to you. Do you want to match? Do you not want to match? Do you want to use your human design guides to help you create rings that reflect each other beautifully but don't necessarily match perfectly? It's up to you. Whatever works for you is the right thing. So that's today's lesson, and I'll see you next time.